Hello everybody and welcome back to Spyro the Dragon. It is currently July 1st, 2026, and it is also 92 degrees where I currently live. Just wanted to point that out. It is extremely hot out there, and I think where I'm at, we are actually under an extreme heat advisory. So it is safe to say that summer is definitely here, and I have to say, before we kind of get into the game here, I do want to say that I feel like June kind of flew by very quickly. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but it almost feels like we didn't get a June, and maybe it's because I didn't do a whole lot during the month of June, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. But welcome to Haunted Towers. So as you can see, we have a little bit of a different landscape here. We have another introduction of a new enemy. These are the tin soldiers. These hunks of metal that essentially reanimates into some sort of ghostly armored enemy. We can see that the fairies have also made a return. And if we get a nice little kissy kiss, we will obtain the ability Super Breath, or Super Flame Breath, if you will. Now we had this back in a previous stage for a limited amount of time, but this stage, however, is a little bit different because we were actually able to use the Super Flame Breath for a good amount of the stage. This entire stage is practically going to consist of these 10 soldier enemies as well as these doors that we essentially have to break down by using the Super Flame ability. So what you want to do here is, of course, if you're going for 100% completion, you want to make sure you are destroying all of these 10 soldiers. Now, there's a couple of them here and there that will kind of just stay there as like pieces of metal that will not reanimate. So that's a little bit tricky because you still have to go back and flame the metal in order to get the gems inside of them.
Hey, Spyro. All dragons know there's magic in a fairy's kiss. See what it can do to your power of flame.
Oh yes, we have definitely seen what it can do already, and we're about to see a little bit more. So we have these Nork soldier guys. They're going to kind of try to stop you, of course, just like typical Nork fashion. Of course, you just want to go ahead and take them out. And one thing I actually did not point out is you cannot attack the 10 soldiers with your regular flame attack or your charge. So you still do have to just rely on the Super Flame ability in order to destroy them. We have, again, plenty of fairies pretty much spread out throughout the stage. They are going to be situated in locations where, again, you kind of have to use the Super Flame ability in order to proceed. So as you can see, that door right there was an example of the type of door you're going to need to use your Super Flame on in order to proceed throughout the level. So again, like I said, this is going to be essentially the theme of this stage, and you're going to be seeing a lot of these enemies in this stage. Now this part is a little bit interesting and a little challenging because you essentially have to get kissed by the fairy, run all the way back there near the beginning of the stage, and take out all of those 10 soldiers. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do here. As you can see, we have one that's kind of, just stationary there, not being reanimated. We have another one that we still have to take out. I'm actually going to go back down to this fairy because this is actually probably going to be a lot easier. She's a lot closer to these first two at least. So we'll go ahead and get the ability from her, go back over and take out those other soldiers. That way we can get the gems. Again, it's very important you take out every single one of these soldiers, even the ones that are just laying down, not reanimating. And those are very easy to miss. I definitely remember my first playthrough through the stage, and I had missed a few gems, and I could not figure out where the hell they were. And it just so happens that the big hunk of metal that's just sitting in the grass was actually where those gems were located in. So we'll go ahead and take this air current up, and we are going to scale around this castle, or this tower, if you will. I think it's more of a castle, in my opinion. You can see over there we have quite a bit of stuff to collect, so we will make our way over there in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to go ahead and use the Supercharge. Yeah, Supercharge, of course, does make a return. We're going to go ahead and use that to bust open the door. You can also use that to destroy the 10 soldiers as well. It's just a little bit more complicated because you have to get just the perfect angle depending on where you are running towards. And I think that's actually the only supercharge. And where that supercharge is actually located, it makes it a little bit more difficult because those 10 soldiers are kind of spread out a little further away.
Hold your horns. Here comes Spyro.
Patience, little one. You'll soon have the opportunity to battle the one who matters most. Gnasty Nork.
And speak of the devil, yeah, he's actually right. We are literally just a couple of stages away from actually facing off with the final boss, which is, of course, Gnasty Nork himself. And that fight is pretty interesting. It's probably the most unique boss fight in the game, obviously with it being the last. And I don't want to say too much about it just in case people haven't played this game and are watching this for spoiler reasons, but once we do get to that point, it is going to be very interesting, and I will say that for the you know, for the most part. And I have a lot of opinions and kind of, I guess, criticisms for that boss fight, but we'll kind of save that until we get there. But for now, we're just going to continue on throughout this stage, and again, we have more of these guys to take out. We have more tin soldiers left to flame, so we want to go ahead and grab our fairy partner right here. Again, they give you kind of a checkpoint of fairies in a way. So you are not going to be running out of locations to find these things, so just pointing that out. But this is kind of near the end of the stage here, so hopefully I gathered as much stuff as I possibly can. I'm actually not even sure if there's really anything else I haven't gotten yet, because I did flame all of those soldiers at the beginning, and that's usually where I miss most of my gems. So and it is easy kind of to forget that you have to flame like the even like the soldiers that don't reanimate, because it's just, they're hard to see. They're easy to pass, especially if they don't, you know, come alive and reappear right in front of you. It's easy kind of to get distracted with these other ones and miss the ones that are just kind of laying there as pieces of metal or whatnot. So and as you can see, the blue wizards made a return in this stage, and I'm not too happy about that overall because I never really cared for the blue wizard enemies, but they are in this stage again, just in case you wanted to get your nice dose of some blue magic there, if you will. We have more mushrooms to feed sparks in this stage, so they give you a good amount just right here in this one specific location, so returning back there would be a good idea if you are getting low on health. So all things that I've pointed out that you probably already know by now. I mean, we're at the end of the game essentially by by this point. If you haven't figured that out, then I'm not sure exactly what you're doing with your life. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna move on here, and we're actually gonna go back to the top of the supercharged ramp. We'll get to this point right here, and we will take this ramp once again, because believe it or not, we actually have to make yet again another ridiculously crazy jump, and I messed up right there. We actually have to go towards that direction right out there. And yeah, this is actually the only supercharged ramp in the stage. Just like the last stage, there was only one, so luckily this is not going to be another treetop situation. Damn it. This one's a little bit complicated because you have to make quite a bit of turns in this one. As you can see, there's quite a swivel of turns there. Get a nice momentum going, and boom, here we go. We want to jump over here, jump off of that edge, and that's where we wanted to actually land. All right, the rhythm is coming back. It's coming together. Make the jump. Oh, that was close. And wait till the end. There, I'll take it. I will take that. That is acceptable criteria there. Okay. So this is where we want to be. As you can see, that is quite a difficult jump to make.
You've become a master of the supercharge. Great work.
Well, damn, I would hope so. I mean, the amount of jumps that we had to perform with that thing have been pretty ridiculous up until this point, I have to say, especially knowing that we did all the crazy stuff we did back at Treetops. I would hope that we are at mastery level by this point, but as you can see, this room is kind of a pain in the ass. So this room is filled with these tin soldiers, and they do not give you much time at all to get up to the top of those stairs in order to actually get through this crazy obstacle course of tin soldiers. This is actually probably one of my least favorite parts of the game, just because, again, it feels very tight in terms of the amount of time they give you to actually get up there. Okay, we'll go ahead and pick up some of these gems on the floor since we're falling down enough times. We might as well get those now in case we forget them. But yeah, I really just don't care for this room at all. Again, it's just very... it's not necessarily like the amount of time, but even though that does suck, but it's mainly the fact that they... just the placement of some of these soldiers makes it very difficult to not just bump into them left and right. And that is complete bullshit. Alright, we're going to try this again. And I have to say, as many times as I've played this game, I have still not fully mastered the whole act of, you know, dashing and jumping at the same time. Alright, so we now got a kiss from this fairy, and as you can see, she does look a little bit different than the rest of them that we saw in the level. She has a little bit more of like a yellow colored dress on. So this is the fairy that's actually going to give us the infinite super flame ability, which is probably one of the best parts of this game, because as you can see, we can freely flame the hell out of these tin soldiers, and you can also see that there is no bar letting us know that we're about to run out of the flame. So it is infinite right here. So as you can see, yeah, she is essentially your tool to have this infinite super flame ability. So kind of cool, and this, I believe, is the only time they actually do this in the game. It is nice to see Spyro kind of lit up like this. I always love the fact that he did this when he gets this ability, or that he does this when he gets this ability, because he just looks really cool, even cooler than he normally does. But we'll go and jump down that little gaping hole there, and that'll kind of put us back down to where we were at the start of the level. So okay, I want to actually go back up here. And he took quite a tumble, holy cow. Alright, kind of getting a little bit of a grasp for where I need to go here. As you can see, these enemies have respawned because we did die a couple of times on accident. I'll go ahead and flame these guys again, get them out of our way. The blue wizard is going to put a stop to that, apparently. Okay, so there's a return home portal, but however, we are still missing a few gems. So it looks like we have some more backtracking yet again. It wouldn't be a Spyro stage if there wasn't a lot of backtracking. So not really a lot to do actually in this stage. We just have to maybe tie up some loose ends here. Alright, so this is actually where I wanted to go. So this room right here that had the tin soldiers, we actually want to go ahead and head this way. And with that infinite super flame breath, we can actually go ahead and flame that box right there that was not accessible without that. So that was where the rest of our gems were. So that's going to do it for Haunted Towers. Again, not really a complicated stage, just can be kind of tedious at certain points. Now time just to make our way back over to the return home portal. And we just have a little bit of cleanup to do left in Dreamweavers, and we are about done here. Again, you gotta love the shots of the moon in the background. I love the stages that have like that that nightly aesthetic where the moon is just like shining beautifully in the background behind Spyro, and you get like a nice glimpse of it as he's soaring in the air like a beautiful majestic dragon that he is. So but yeah, not really a lot left of Dreamweavers. Again, we just have the final flight stage, which is in this home world, as well as the boss, which is another interesting boss, I would have to say as well. Probably one of the more creative ones in the game, and you'll kind of see that once we get to that point. All right, so Haunted Towers is done. which means it is time to take on the very last flight stage in Spyro the Dragon. Well, the first game at least. They do come back in Spyro 2, but we are not playing Spyro 2, so until that time comes around, this is going to be the last of them for now, and this is Icy Flight. So as you can see, the lights that need to be flamed have made a return in this flight level. So I would probably argue that this flight level, obviously with it being the last, it kind of makes sense, but it is by far the most challenging. And you can kind of see why already. So in this stage, you have to light up these lights. We've done this before, except this pattern of lights is a little bit more complicated. You have to make quite a few turns in this one. It is very easy to kind of lose your rhythm and get a little bit confused and turned around quite a bit. We're going to try this again. So another thing that makes this stage quite a pain is we have these treasure chests as well. And you noticed there before when I went through the first time, I actually avoided them entirely, and I only went after the lights. However, upon second thought, I really think it's important to go ahead and take care of these while you're taking care of the lights. I think knocking both of these out at the same time, this trail of treasure chests as well as the trail of lights, would probably be the best idea. And it looks like I've already screwed up because we are missing 2 lights, and now I'm forced to turn around, of course. Okay, here we go. We have a chest right there, just very sneakily hidden behind that damn wall. I hate when they do that. But yeah, I think it's important to go ahead and take all these out at once. As long as you don't lose your trail and your rhythm there, I think you can get that done with still a good amount of time to spare. It's also nice because you can just kind of jump right into these tunnels, taking care of those barrels that will come, you know, pretty much towards you if you're going in the direction I'm going here. And then of course you can slip through these little areas here, take care of the Norks on your path, slip right back into the tunnel and take care of the rest of the barrel. So I think this one, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. As you can see, I've kind of already done this in a few different attempts. You can tell by the editing already. So this one is by far the most challenging, I would say, but it is not impossible by any means. As you can see, we just have the Nork guys to take care of. I think I missed like one of them. That kind of sucks. I probably could have did that with 13 seconds to spare, and I would have been extremely proud of myself for doing so. But this guy was a little bit of a straggler, but we got him anyways. So that is going to do it for Icy Flight, and that is it for the flight levels in the game. And man, there it is. We have finally reached a new milestone. So we have officially achieved a total of 10,000 gems, believe it or not. And that is not the last of them. We still have thousands of gems to collect in this game, believe it or not. Like, that seems unbelievably crazy, but that is just fact. Like, there's that many gems in this game. It just goes to show how much there is to collect in this game. It's one of the reasons why I love playing it so much. Alright, so that is it for Icy Flight. We now move on to the very last thing to do here at Dreamweavers. And it is to take on the boss stage. And this time around, we are confronting and facing off with Jacques. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I fought this boss, I thought it was pronounced Jacques or something kind of weird like that, but it's not. It's clearly based off of a French name, but Jacques just rolls off the tongue a lot better. And we have officially landed, folks. So this stage has quite a variety of different enemies that are going to be quite whimsical, to be honest. We have these giant Norks in dresses. They look like female Norks. They're kind of similar to the ones that we saw way back early on in the game, where they were like cooking in those giant pots in one of the early stages. This time around, they're just going to be stationary on these platforms, these extremely tiny platforms. We have more of these fools. These guys are the clock ones, so of course once we dash into them or flame them, they will go inside of their clocks and the timer will start, allowing for specific platforms in the stage to rise up. And again, we saw this gimmick back in the homeworld, and we've used it quite a bit already, so we're a little bit familiar with that.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Take care.
Looks like we have more than one dragon this time around. I think typically the boss stages normally have just like one dragon, but it looks like there's more than one this time. So here we have these platforms that are kind of coming out of the wall there. I think we've seen something like that before. But in this stage, they kind of have a habit of giving you very tiny platforms to work with. So you kind of have to make your jumps a little bit more strategically to where you don't accidentally fly right off, or you could land and maybe slip off somehow. I've done that before. So you just want to be a little bit extra careful in terms of making some of these jumps. So but we're going to go ahead and glide back over to this platform, and that was kind of a dead end, so to speak. We just needed to, of course, collect all the gems that were over there. More mushrooms for Sparks and more fools for Spyro to flame. We'll go and take this air current, and we have a nice series of these female Nork enemies that we are going to do a horrible job at taking out all in a row. That would have been awesome if we were able to pull that off. I have done it before, but unfortunately when I start recording this game, I don't do things in a cool way. I don't know why. But we just had two more to take out there. We'll go ahead and collect some more gems in them. Sounds wrong. Oh, there's some more down here, of course. This is one of the only stages I remember that has actually lava in it. I don't remember seeing that a lot. That is going to come up in the other Spyro games in this trilogy, but in this game I feel like they don't have a lot of lava. For some reason that just kind of made me think of that. These guys are kind of annoying. They have these giant claws and they'll kind of swipe at you with them. And they are on these platforms that are a little bit higher than ground level. So it forces you to jump to attack them, but it then gives them the opportunity to swipe at you because they are already preparing that swipe attack. So by the time you jump up there, they're going to do their thing and try to swipe you in there. So this platform right here is pretty interesting. You actually have to go ahead and flame those clock fools 2 different times. There's 2 of them, and it will actually raise the platform even higher than the first time. So you actually have a giant platform that will rise, and then a smaller one inside of it that will rise as well. So kind of cool. Now I do actually really appreciate this gimmick in this stage, and we also saw it again, like I said, in the homeworld. I don't know what it is, but it's probably one of my favorite ideas for this game. I love the idea of having something that some mechanism you have to trigger in order to make platforms rise up in order for you to actually use that as a bridge to get to where you need to go. I don't know why, but it's something about it that I just really like, and I really wish they would have taken a little bit more advantage of that in this game. We get a good amount of it, especially in this homeworld, but would have definitely been fine with a lot more of it in the game. So, but for now, we're going to continue our hunt for gems. We don't have too many left, I don't think. Go ahead and flame the fool, rise up, and go down here. This is one of those instances where they put gems on like every step of a staircase, so watch out for that.
Any advice before this battle?
Advice? A wise dragon once told me aim high in life, but watch out for flying boxes.
Huh?
Ah, the wise words from the Dragon Elders. So this is Jacques. Yeah, so that dragon was actually not kidding. He is going to throw boxes at you this entire fight. 3 times is the charm for this fight, so you have to go ahead and take him out. Use your jump to avoid the boxes or any other way you think is fit. This guy is then pretty much cake. As you can see, he is going to cause some of these platforms to rise once you attack him enough times in order to, get to where he's moving to. So you can take full advantage of that. He is pretty quick, but again, he will eventually stop in one specific location, giving you the opportunity to flame his ass. And he's going to go back to the circus from hell that he originated from, apparently. I'm not sure. But that's going to do it, man. Looks like we got everything on the first go. That's awesome. That's very rare to see that in a boss stage. I usually have to do some sort of backtracking, but it looks like in this particular stage, that is not the case. Very nice. So that is it. That is going to do it for Dreamweavers, which means there's only one destination left in our adventure. Oh man, it's such a fulfilling feeling just seeing that 100% pop up on the screen every time it does. I know it's like I don't know, 100 times in this game, but every time it does do that, it just never gets old. I just love it. But yeah, we are done here. Man, this place again is one of my favorite home worlds. It's gonna be a little bittersweet knowing that we have to leave, but we talked to my boy Amos.
Well done, Spyro. I hope you know what lies in store for you. Gnasty's world is not the friendliest place you'll ever find. Are you ready to go?
So next time on Spyro the Dragon, we will take on the final stages and then eventually Gnasty Nork himself. So until then, I will see you later. Stay cool out there, everybody.